Well, it goes beyond that. The groups that you're describing is was is masterminds, right? And um, mastermind is when like-minded people come together and then they create, they co-create. So in co-creation, there is no end to to co-creation. It's like living in the sea of motion, like Bob says. We live in a sea, an ocean of motion. So, and living in this sea, in this ocean of motion, there's a lot that gets cooked up. There's a lot that comes up. So the ocean of motion, life is an ocean of motion, and a lot of things get stirred up. From the bottom that finds its way to the top, and then we get together and we're, we're doing this work. It's actually a spiritual work, because through time, there's always somebody always defines. When people get together, even the scriptures talk about that. Uh, like minds get together, and then magic happens. Um, what's the guy that created? Forgot his name now. It talks about mastermind, and Bob talks about masterminding. Um, when like-minded people get together, that's it's amazing what comes up of it. But we just don't. At the end of a conversation, a period, we leave with something, and that something is running in the background. So that's some of the powers of being in a group, like-minded group, or being in a mastermind. Like-mindedness. When we leave with something, but it's like it's that motion. It keeps running, and every time that happens, things open up. So we have different conversations about different laws and how it affects us, and how we get to live this law, because you can't share something you're not living. So there's a disconnect. So that's how it all started, from that whole spiritual thing. So actually, the more we look at it, it reminds me of how it's a spiritual exercise that has no end to it, unless somebody chooses to leave and go do something else, right? Which everybody has a choice. Um, but the longer I've noticed, the longer I've stayed in these conversations, I've become a better person. Actually, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with like what I'm creating in the world. Um, I'm operating at a different space we call frequency. And when I'm not operating in that space, I can recognize it. So the biggest thing that I can say has been an awareness
Hmm.
of who I am in this space, this bag, this environment, this journey. Okay, we call life.
I was thinking that as you were saying it, just that it's the awareness. It's the awareness that you are happy. It's the awareness, like we take these conversations and we go deep into how we're feeling. We're considering how we're feeling. We're considering what is showing up in life and what someone said or did and how that impacted us. And then within the groups, within the sharing, then we get that resonance. We get that how it connects in conversation, how then one idea I will say, then you will have an idea off of that. And then within this just our conversation, it expands into something so connected, which is one of the laws, like law of divine oneness. We're all connected. But when we see it in motion like that, then you're able to almost apply it from this little small group to the larger group, which is the world and life and how we are all connected, and the law of cause and effect, and how one thing, when I do something, that there's an effect, and so on and so on. Um, but um, but yeah, just you hearing you say that you're a better person. And but it's more that you see that you're a better person, or you are aware because you've taken the time to do this work, to pour into yourself. So I see that for you for sure.
Yeah,